Okay, how to evangelize Fibonacci style. Okay, here you go, Jonathan Fibonacci. It's time to talk about Psalms 25. Here you go. Unto you, O Lord, do I bring my life. Number two. Number three, of course, show me your ways. These are, now, that's the way that I like to read or learn about God. But I also like to learn about God in other ways. So let me talk about evangelism. And that's kind of a really bad word. I mean, evangelism is sort of like one of those words that, like nobody ever wants to be described as, here's my friend Jonathan, he's an evangelist. Or here's a tele-evangelist. Or here's a YouTuber evangelist. Oh, by the way, speaking of evangelism, if you'd like to drop me some PayPal, go to americana417@gmail.com, put in email, my email, and drop me some mammon. Okay, so drop me some mammon because it's the love of money. It's not money. It's the love of money. It's almost like orthopedic surgery. Like nobody really wants to ever have to experience an orthopedic surgery unless they're a really cool person like Mary Neal. Okay, so who is Mary Neal, and why am I talking about evangelism? And am I going to, showcase another Lauren Dangle song? And what is this YouTube video? And who is Jonathan Fibonacci? Well, I'm glad you asked. And yes, I'm going to talk about places I love, and this channel is going to be about all kinds of things. And one thing I want to do is I want to send the light and send love, as cheesy as that sounds. And what does that mean? And the thing is sometimes light, could be an instrument. I could just be a conduit to light. And so maybe this channel could be a conduit to light. Like for example, I'm doing a travel log, and there's the Caboose Motel, and the Caboose Motel is a beautiful place. I won't do the commercial here, but I'm doing like the top 10 boutique hotels in America in beautiful Durango. And by the way, Durango is always only 100 miles away. So if you're traveling from Texas, please don't come. But if you're traveling from places that are cool like California or New England or Chile, so here we go. I am Jonathan Fibonacci. I'm going to talk about evangelism and why that is really a word that we might need to bring back, because it's I think because of some bad evangelism, because of some bad tele-evangelists, and we all have at least 6 stories or 7 stories or 8 stories of people misusing God's name, and literally the Bible speaks about that, and it says, don't take the Lord's name in vain or for vain purposes. Now that's a Jonathan Fibonacci perspective. So here you go. Let's talk about perspective, and let's talk about near-death experiences, and let me talk to you about a pet peeve that I have. One of the pet peeves I have, among many, is when people misuse the word literally. That's an old joke, but I literally hate when people use words like literally or, apparently. Those are it just makes me. But these are not near-death experiences. These are literal death experiences. People like Nathan Wheeler, you go ahead and watch that one. It's The Secret. The reason why I'm pointing to these near-death experiences or these literal death experiences is because they're the best evangelism I've ever run into. And I'm over 40 years old. And I'm like, how is it that Jonathan Fibonacci got to 40 years old and I never really understood or mined the beautiful quarry of near-death experiences as an evangelistic tool? Because to listen to these people speak and to listen to them speak with exquisite detail and the motifs that they use, and that God is love, and that there's a community of people that are watching you and I on this earth. Evangelism, or the Bible speaks of that we have ministering angels that watch over us, and there's a whole realm of angels and reality. And now we're talking about ayahuasca and some of these psychedelics and some of these things, and then you go, wow, maybe we are living in the end times, and maybe like these plant-based therapies like ayahuasca and psilocybin and even cannabis, maybe these are ways that God is saying, come to me, come to me. So I'm going to close out with an orthopedic surgeon. I want to talk about evangelism. For me, Psalms 25, and I'm just Jonathan Fibonacci. For me, Psalms 25:1, unto you, O Lord, do I bring my life. Oh my God, I trust and lean. Now, this is a really good prayer, but you might not like the Bible. You might read the Quran. You might be from Chile. So maybe you need to find Mary Neal, and listen to some of these near-death experiences like Nathan Wheeler. So here's another one, and this is such a rich story. Listen to it, and I guess I'm going to call this video "Shut Up and Push Play," because a lot of times evangelism, we don't know it, but we're really not pushing Jesus. We're pushing our agendas, or we're pushing our need for mammon or greater mammon or whatever. Well, push play. Well, there's a person in your life that has real questions about heaven and hell, and if you're living with a person, or you know of a person that maybe they are facing the end of the life, maybe they're in a hospice. Google NDE experience Mary Neal, and she's like I said, an orthopedic surgeon, and I won't play her video here, but some of the things that she's talking about I think are just amazing. And we're even going to watch the stupid ad. Holy shit, check that out. Mary Neal, near-death experience. Guidepost, skip this fucking ad. Oh, sorry.
And they took me to heaven.
There you go. I think she even has a book out.
Many people can sense God's presence without being hit on the head. But apparently, I'm more of a concrete person than that, because for me, even though I was raised in Sunday school, I was raised in a church, I think I had the typical experience of church being a Sunday thing. And during the week, you didn't really think about God or think about God's.
One thing I really like about these stories, and there are probably, I don't know, hundreds of them, and these are real life experiences. And again, just the exquisite detail and how they describe God as light, and how they're almost without exception just enamored with the light. And you'll hear the expression over and over where they say it's hard to put into the English language. And so these people like Mary Neal or other people, they're experiencing that reality. And I think just the fact that we have YouTube, we have Wi-Fi, we now have access to some of these stories. And I'm like, we need to really use these as evangelistic tools, and not necessarily our culture or not necessarily our brand of politics, and go back to just old school.
When I drowned, I was very comfortable and very comforted. I found that I knew I was going to have a problem as soon as I crested the waterfall.
And I'll let you watch her video in your own time. It's a really good story. In fact, she's even, there's another news station that's picked her story up. And then Nathan Wheeler, and like I said, even some of the ones that discuss hell. In fact, especially the ones that discuss hell, because people who literally experience that severe mercy of going to hell and then go, boom, I got to change my life. Those are so riveting. So next time somebody says evangelism, think Jonathan Thibinogi and think, holy shit, let's stop with the culture wars and the culture battles, and stop making these political discussions masquerade as religious discussions. Let's address the spirit of mammon, and let's go back to the spirit of God. And there is no greater evangelistic tool than a near-death experience, and they're on YouTube. And they only have like 20, 30,000 views. So anyway, I'm out. You guys be good. Jonathan Thibinogi, unto you, O Lord, do I bring my life.